Sometimes life is messy. Have you ever wished you could refocus your mind, home, relationships, and work life? Join us as we use research-based information to make practical changes and simplify life. This is Life Simplified.
Welcome to Life Simplified. This is Ashley, and I'll be your host for today. And all month long, we have been talking about moving your way, making physical activity a part of your life. We've talked about the different types of physical activity, and the recommendation we know is to participate in 150 minutes of moderate physical activity each week, and that can be broken down. That's about 30 minutes most days. In last week's episode, we talked about how to overcome those barriers that keep us from being physically active. We talked about lack of time. We talked about lack of energy. We talked about environmental barriers, physical barriers. We talked about all kinds of things. So if you've not listened to our last two episodes, we encourage you to go back and check those out. Today, we'll be discussing getting in the habit of physical activity and making it fun so that you want to get in the habit. To get us started, we're going to take a look at how habits are formed. And this may not be something that you have really thought about, because a habit, once it is a habit, it's automatic. We're not really thinking about it. We're just doing it. But habits follow a loop. You've got a reminder, and that's something that prompts that behavior. You've got the routine, which is the behavior, what you do after that reminder. And then you've got the reward. So what you're getting from that behavior. We're going through these steps without even thinking about it. But I would guess that if you picked out one of your habits, you could pick out each step if you purposefully gave it some thought. So let's go ahead and do that. And it doesn't have to be a physical activity habit for this portion. I'm going to ask my ladies here to tell us about one of their habits, and then purposefully go through each step and tell us what reminds you to do it, what the routine is, and then what is the reward. And I can start because I've had a little more time to think about it. The first thing that popped into my head was I have the routine, the habit of doing my laundry on Saturdays. So my reminder is that it's Saturday morning. So it's not anything that someone told me I have to do, but that's just, it's Saturday morning. It's time to do my laundry. So I wake up on Saturday, I put my laundry in, then I get ready for the day. I drink my coffee, I have my morning time, and my reward is that my laundry is done on Saturday. So on Sunday, I'm not having to do that. And it's just that feeling of completion. So the reward doesn't have to be anything big. It's just whatever value you get from that behavior.
Okay, so I don't know if I have a reward for mine, but uh, I have to take medicine, and I have to take it in the morning and at night. And so my very first thing that I do when I get up out of the bed, I go and take my medicine. And then I leave it sitting on the counter because then I have to take more. And so I leave my little container where my medicine is on my counter so I don't forget to take the rest of my medicine after I get done getting dressed. And the same thing at nighttime. Sometimes I'll take my nighttime medicine and just leave my medicine out so I don't forget to take it the next morning. So I had to have it as a habit to being able to do that because I would forget because I hadn't. It was like I wasn't taking medicine, then all of a sudden I was taking medicine. So I had to create that habit of being able to remember to take it morning and at nighttime as well. So, and like I said, I guess my reward is that the medicine helps me stay
Right?
healthy.
You feel
So,
better.
but that's one of mine.
Yeah, I think you have a big reward there.
Yes.
Take that medicine consistently. Y'all, okay, so my example is also a bit of my struggle with my physical activity. So, my favorite habit that I've formed is my coffee time with my husband in the morning. Like, I don't think about it, it's automatic. Actually, I do think about it. I'll be honest. Like, we have both said, like, we go to bed at night and we're just like, I'm so excited to get up and have coffee with you tomorrow. Like, we enjoy it so much. So, like, it just happens. That's the first thing that I do when I get up in the morning, go into the living room, have coffee with my husband and watch whatever nonsense we've chosen for the day. And then, have commentary about it together. So it is my routine. We've been doing it for a couple years now, and the reward is just I love starting my day that way. I just do. I enjoy my coffee because I need some caffeine. I love just chilling with my husband before the chaos of the day gets going. But that routine kind of took over when I used to do my physical activity. I would get up early, and that's when I would get my exercise routine out of the way. And I am pretty determined that I'm not swapping back to that because I enjoy that time with my spouse so much. So that is a priority. But I really want to be physically active too. And I've had a hard time making it a habit because I'm having a hard time getting the routine, the repetition of the routine, the consistency of the routine, because other than first thing in the morning, my days are so varied that I'm having a hard time, like in my mind, plug it into lunchtime. My lunchtime is all over the place with meetings and activities and classes, or plug it in the evening, and that's also varied with different kids things and obligations and sometimes also meetings and things as well. So that's where I'm struggling to make it my habit, but it's okay. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna find a way. Find a
Yes.
way.
And I think that's a very real example. And we were actually talking off the air about how our schedules and like everyone else's, they're so varied. Some of us are taking kids here, there, and everywhere in extracurricular activities. And it's hard. It's hard to overcome those barriers. It's hard to form a habit. So please don't take this as us sitting here telling you that you're going to do it no matter what. And it's not, it's easy. Just do it because that's not what we're saying at all. And hopefully these episodes will help you form that habit, will help you come up with a routine that works for you, and that you will also not be so hard on yourself when that routine gets a little off schedule. In our Thawing Your New Year's Resolution episode a couple of weeks ago, we talked briefly about how you can't wait for that motivation to do something because that motivation may not come. We may have to start something and then the motivation will follow. When you're trying to develop a new habit, you can't rely on your memory. Joni said that she puts her medicine bottle out on the counter where she can see it as her reminder, not relying just on her memory to be that reminder or the motivation to remind you to start that routine. So, one idea is to try pairing a new habit with an already established habit. So, now thinking about physical activity, how can you pair a new habit with an already established habit? And it can be super small. One of the things that I thought about was I drink water throughout the day, and we have a water refilling station in our office. So I'm getting up to go refill my water bottle. I can go refill my water bottle, and then when there's not a meeting right next door, I can go make a couple of loops around the meeting room before heading back to my office. it takes maybe 3 minutes, and that's probably overestimating, but that's something that I can do for my body that wouldn't take me too much time or energy.
I guess one thing that I'm thinking about far as establishing a new habit would be far as maybe to have a snack, a healthy snack after you get done, far as with your walk. Incorporate either a protein bar, a fruit, maybe some vegetables, just a good healthy snack after you get done. Or also far as incorporate your water, like you said too, Ashley. If even if you're not drinking water, maybe incorporate it.
Another example that I thought of, I mentioned in previous episodes that I did purchase a walking pad for my office, and I have been this is a new habit, so this could be a little iffy, but I have noticed that on the days when I'm in the office, if I keep my email up, then that pulls my attention multiple times throughout the day because every time it pings, I'm like, oh, I need to answer this, even if I'm in the middle of a project. So what I have tried to do is set aside three times for the day. I do morning, lunchtime, and afternoon to make sure that I am checking frequently. But instead of just sitting while I'm checking and responding and taking care of emails, I can pull out my walk pad and I can walk while I'm doing that. So that's just one more little way that I can incorporate just a little bit more physical activity. When you're trying to think about a new habit and habits, pairing new habits with established habits, give yourself time. It may take trying a more than one reminder to find the one that works. So while I'm going to try the filling up my water bottle and walking around the meeting room, in reality, maybe that won't really work. Maybe that's not something that I feel like I can do. Maybe I'm not going to have time for that. Or if the meeting room is booked for 4 days in a row when I'm trying it, that may not work. So that's okay. Don't get discouraged. Try something new. When you're making a routine, you want to pick one that works for you and your schedule. Think about the season that you're in, think about your schedule, and if you have other people in your life, in your household, you also may need to consider their schedules as well. And I know that I'm the list maker, so this is going to come as no surprise when I say it may be helpful for you to write your schedule down, which those of us in this room, we do this for our job. If we didn't, I don't know how people don't write down their in their calendars. But I think most extension people keep a solid calendar going at all times.
Not at like 18 months at a time.
Right.
Like,
So I'm already it's March and I'm already thinking about when do I need to purchase the new calendar? I think I've
oh,
got a
yeah.
few more months, but pretty soon I got to be looking.
Hey, they have to overlap for about a month.
Right. You've got two. You're like, what am I doing? But for those of you that are not keeping track of a schedule as detailed as we are, it may be helpful to write down your schedule and anyone else's who might factor into yours, and then look for gaps where you might be able to fit in physical activity. I think of extracurricular activities for kids when we're waiting to pick them up. Because, I mean, do we get there a little early? Maybe we're rolling in right on time. But if you are the parent who's getting there a little bit early, can you walk around the facility or walk around your vehicle for a couple of times? I mean, I'm the one who would like to sit in my car and read while I'm waiting, but for moving my body, I can stick a podcast in my ear and I can move. So maybe it's just a few minutes here and there while you're waiting on your kids. It may be helpful to set reminders. So, set an alarm on your phone. If you are using an app to keep track of steps or using an app for physical activity in any way, see if there's a way you can set notifications. Maybe text yourself or send yourself an email to remind you to do something. And then, of course, don't be too hard on yourself. We talk about that, and I think probably almost every episode.
It's
When
because we
you
are hard on ourselves
We
and we're like,
are.
don't do that.
We're
Stop.
we're like we're really hard on ourselves. So don't you be hard on yourself.
I'll tell you though, I'm sitting here thinking about this calendar thing and schedules and routines and like I'm really just piecing it together day by day right now as far as getting a physical activity routine off the ground. But in my head, I'm also thinking like if I can just push through and do the best I can for right now, I know that I do have like a slower time period that's coming, and it's not slow by any means. Like there's still things going on, but it's not quite as overwhelming because I have two kids that are very in the thick of their sport right now, and we're about to go into a little bit of off season here in a month or two. So I'm thinking if I can just hold on for these next several weeks and just do the best I can, then when I have a little bit more time, if I can really dig in and establish a routine then when I get back to the busy time, I think it'll be easier to maintain because I will have made it more ingrained in my routine. So I'm just trying, like, if you're listening, I'm sharing this because if you're like me, it's so tempting to be like, I can't do it right now. But if I can do the best I can for now, whatever that looks like, and in some weeks that's one time a week, sometimes that's two times a week, that's okay. Just not completely giving up. And then knowing, like, okay, if I have a week or two that's not quite as overwhelming, push it in there and really try and dig in and get that routine established.
And that's so encouraging that just to do what you can do and then give yourself grace for it. Don't be too hard on yourself. And then when you have the time, when you can, you said you've got a slower, not
Mhm.
slow by any
Nowhere.
means,
Yeah.
but slower time coming up. So look ahead, think about that. Another way to make physical activity a habit is to make it fun. If it's fun, you'll want to do it even when it's hard. So, what are some ways that you can make physical activity fun?
So, two things come to mind for me. One is, I think I said this in a previous episode, but when my daughter and I work out together, we usually have a really good time laughing with one another. We'll say with, maybe a little
With
at each other. But it's all in fun. And I mean, it just makes it pleasant. If you can laugh while you're working out, you're doing something right. But then also, I think back to like maybe not right now, this isn't what I do, but I've always really enjoyed different forms of dance fitness because I like to dance and I danced in high school, and I've always said like I can do that because I trick myself into thinking I'm just going to a party. I'm just having a good time. I'm not, this isn't a workout. This is just fun. And so I think if you can do something you enjoy, it makes it more fun.
definitely. And whether it is someone in your household that you are being physically active with, whether you get together with a group of your colleagues and on your lunch break you're like, "Hey, let's let's eat and then let's walk and talk for the rest of it." Or finding an accountability partner. Joni mentioned in a previous episode that she and her daughter are keep each other accountable. So finding someone to be active with, whether that is joining a fitness class so that you're around other people, giving more than one fitness class a try if that is your thing, whether it be dance fitness, bar, kickboxing, step, water aerobics, yoga. The list goes on and on and on for different classes.
Or even just like pickleball.
Yes,
other activities like that, that is physical activity. Like sports are physical activity. And so if you're moving your body, you're moving your body. And I mean, I think that's a great way that it's social. And I think probably a lot of times people are just like, oh, I'm being social and I'm getting outdoors, but that is you're moving. You're
yes,
definitely getting fit doing that.
for sure. Any kind of sports. And whether you are playing that with your kids, you're moving. Pickleball, soccer, basketball, baseball, lots of different activities. And it's fun. You're going to be able to laugh. Well, I hope you're going to be able to laugh. I laugh at myself whenever I'm trying to do those things. I really enjoy pickleball, but I cannot take myself too seriously with it because I'm not that great. Like, it's fun, but I'm not good. One of these days, I'm going to win against my husband. It's going to happen. Learning something new. So even if you don't know how to play pickleball, and we'll just use pickleball as an example, but any kind of activity, if you don't know how to do it, learning it definitely is going to be great for physical activity. Play with your kids. Amanda has mentioned in previous podcasts that she and her oldest really like to do different yoga poses and stretches in the evening. They're making their bodies look like animals. So things like that are fun. Playing with the kids, getting outside, playing with the kids outside, running around, playing tag, make it a game. Make physical activity some type of game or challenge. If you're with another person, maybe you're seeing who can jump rope the longest. Or if you're not with another person, challenge yourself. Can I jump rope for 30 seconds without a break? 1 minute without a break? Whatever. Hula hoop, just moving. I think it's helpful to take the word exercise out. Don't
Mhm.
think of it as exercise. Think of it as just movement. And we've talked in previous podcast episodes that several of us like to listen to podcasts. We like to read. We like to listen to audiobooks. Put some headphones in. Listen to your book or your podcast while you're moving, whether that be walking, maybe you're dancing around the kitchen, maybe you're cleaning, throw in a jumping jack or two, maybe. I mean, the possibilities are endless. If podcasts and books are not your thing, music. One study has shown that you actually will walk further listening to music in a week because you've got that distraction. Music can speed up your activity. If you've got a fast beat, then you're going to move a little faster. Maybe TV's your thing. Challenge yourself. If you've got a treadmill, challenge yourself to walk on your treadmill while you're watching your favorite show. If you don't have a treadmill, that's okay. March in place, maybe do a couple of exercises during the commercial breaks. If you don't skip them, don't skip them. How about that? Don't skip the commercial breaks and do 30 seconds to a few minutes of physical activity. Tiffany's mentioned before hiking, anything getting in nature, moving around, going on a hike, going for a bike ride, geocaching. That's a big thing in some areas. So that's moving your body and you're searching for something. So have at it. I really like this quote. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And that's by Robert Collier. And I think that really just sums up this whole episode and a lot of what we've been talking about. A little bit goes a long way. Just keep at it day after day. Don't focus on perfection, focus on progress. Do the very best that you can. Make physical activity work for you. Don't think of it as exercise. Think of it as something fun that you get to do that also has amazing health benefits. We are a week into our Walk Your Way challenge, and we would love for you to join. This is a virtual challenge, so you keep track of either the number of steps that you walk, or the amount of time that you spend moving your body. We will also send you a newsletter each week with some tips and strategies to help incorporate physical activity into your everyday life. More information is in the show notes. Click the link to sign up, and we will get you added to the challenge. If you have any questions about the challenge, feel free to reach out to us at lifesimplifiedpodcast@gmail.com or on our social media pages, or call us in our offices. The challenge runs through May 25th. So if you're listening to this and it's April, you've still got time. Jump in there. We would love to have you. We would appreciate if you would help us get the word out about our podcast. A rating and a review on your podcasting app is really helpful. It does not take very long. Just give us the stars. And if you feel led to give us a comment, we would appreciate that as well. Share your favorite episode on social media, or even just tell a friend how to find us. If you have any ideas for future episodes, we would love to hear those. Contact us on our Instagram or Facebook, or email lifesimplifiedpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. This is Life Simplified.
Thanks for listening to Life Simplified. We are family and consumer sciences agents with the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. Contact us at lifesimplifiedpodcast@gmail.com.